So yes, nominations are still underway. ANC branches are selecting their preferred candidates that they want to see contesting for power in December. The ANC's National Elective Conference takes place between the 16th and the 20th of December. Now, as these branches nominate, there are people who are closely monitoring what each branch does. While we wait for provincial general councils to start taking place, this is where all the branches will be consolidated, and then you'll have a clear picture of what the different provinces in the ANC want. But until that's done, what it leaves room for is a lot of calculations and horse trading, which is the order of the day. So people are starting to figure out whose odds are better as far as that contest is concerned. And with that comes the issue of slate politics. Now, don't believe them for a second, not even a millisecond, when they say to you that slate politics is a thing behind them. They might have introduced the electoral committee that's been led by former ANC Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe. But think about it. Limpopo's produced Tshidi Madia and Paul Mashatile as some of its preferred candidates. Gauteng echoed that and added Nomvula Mokonyane. KZN did pretty much the same thing. What does that tell you? Does it not tell you that slate politics are at play? But what's interesting is the rise of the provinces in the ANC. And not only that, but the fact that the provinces are led by younger leaders across the board. And so the picture is not what it was in 2017. The picture is actually a battle to topple those who took over in 2017. Yes, you might say Paul Mashatile emerged, but the people who are catapulting Paul Mashatile as we speak, look around you, are young people, are former youth leaguers. They're running Gauteng, they're running KZN, and yes, Tshidi Madia might be elderly, but he's been positioned for national chairmanship, and Ruben Madate and them are relatively young. Denim Caesar, the omnipresent figure who runs Limpopo politics, is relatively young. He's not the generation of the elders. And those are the people who are calling the shots. Don't discredit, don't undermine, don't disregard their role in how this picture is shaping up. But what's also been interesting this week is the emergence of a slate attached to Cyril Ramaphosa's campaign to return to the helm. The Renew 22, CR Renew 22 clique, cabal, faction, lobby group, whatever you want to call them. But that grouping has come out with a list that features people like Gwen Ramokgopa for Treasurer General. It's tipped a nod for Phoebe Potgieter to go into the Secretariat. Another interesting name that's emerged in the race for Deputy President is that of Senzo Mchunu, hails from KwaZulu-Natal, lost with such tiny margins to Ace Magashule in 2017 in the race to become Secretary General of the ANC. What's interesting is Senzo's name feels like it's late in the game, but those attached to Ramaphosa, I suspect, think being attached to Ramaphosa is sufficient. But what's been interesting with the emergence of the slate is Mdum Ntuli. One would have expected Mdumseni Ntuli to have gotten the nod, as opposed to Fikile Mbalula, to become the Secretary General of the ANC. He's supposedly younger, has energy, but those who are at odds with Mdum Ntuli's name say, but Mdumseni Ntuli is not traditionally somebody you associate with Ramaphosa. It works for him to be thought to be linked to Ramaphosa, but he isn't. So Mdu feels at the moment like somebody said to be the biggest loser in this particular race as we speak. So the posters are doing the rounds about Mdum Ntuli. I think a few journalists are confused about his position and where he's gotten nods. People think Gauteng has given him the nod. It hasn't. It hasn't. Those who wanted to failed, in part because his home province, KZN, said no, never, never that. Don't want to hear the name Ntuli. So his battle to find relevance will be a little bit harder. But what's interesting about Mdu is the branches are talking about him. Young people are mentioning his name as who they want to see preoccupying that office at Luthuli House, that engine that drives the organization. But those who are against him will say to you, he doesn't have enough experience. He's only led the ANC in one term, and he failed to make it back. And I always think there's something to be said about somebody who leads an office, then you contest, and then you fail. It's like trying to back up someone like Jacob Kawe, who got less than 10 votes in his bid to go back into his own office in the ANC. It says something about your leadership or the politics of the day. You can pick one, I'm not sure, but it says a lot. And so Mdu Ntuli, is tainted in that way. Will he emerge? As I said, young people are calling out his name, but I suspect that people who did not nominate him but wanted him in, these are people linked to Paul Mashatile and the likes, had hoped that he'd get the backing for Cyril Ramaphosa's people. Cyril Ramaphosa's people are saying he's not our guy, he's never been our guy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But the other thing that's come from this particular lineup that came out, the one that's got Senzo Mkhunu, Gwen Ramohopa, it has Gwere Mantashe as chair, Ramaphosa, of course, as president. That lineup has also made lots and lots of people really angry. And as somebody said, rather now than later, in politics, truth be told, people cling on to you for different reasons. People were always going to be angry. Let them be angry now. Go find themselves either new homes or realign and rework the politics. It's a risk that the so-called renewal group is willing to take. Will it work? Will it not work? We wait and see. What I know for sure is Paul Mashatile's numbers are looking good. But in politics, as I say, a day is too long. Anything can happen. Nominations will draw to an end at the end of this month. The PGCs will give rise to a new wave of bartering, horse trading, and negotiations. These people will negotiate right until the end, until people go into the ballot boxes. It's hard to call, it's hard to tell. I just know that the picture will continuously change until it's over.